Hi guys, and welcome back to Broken Britain. So, I've seen the latest controversy here with Jim Ratcliffe, and I thought I'd just quickly get into this because, I've seen a lot of the outrage, and I wanted to, have a look at this because, for me personally, I really do think I'm a level-headed person when it comes to all this, and this is where I think the problem is that sometimes even if you're level-headed, if you're not saying the right thing, what people want to hear, you can offend anyone these days. Just having an opinion is offensive to people. And that's what I think the problem is here. And so let's get into this. So I've just got the thing here of what he said. So let's go through it. He said, quote, "You can't have an economy with 9 million people on benefits and huge levels of immigrants coming in," unquote, he said. Quote, "I mean, the UK has been colonised. It's costing too much money." Quote, "The UK has been colonised by immigrants, really, hasn't it? I mean, the population of the UK was 58 million in 2020, now it's 70 million, that's 12 million people," unquote. Okay, so let's just kind of focus on some parts here. So I think the part that's really caused the offence in terms of like the word colonised, obviously I think that was a bit of an exaggerated term. However, it doesn't mean that what he's saying doesn't have any merit to it just because of the wording, right? Okay, the wording was wrong, but it doesn't mean that that doesn't still have a certain point to it. Now, the other thing I will say is apparently some of these statistics were wrong that he said. Apparently, it was 67 million in mid-2020 and 70 million in mid-2024. So the UK population was apparently estimated at 58.9 million in the year 2000. So, okay, some of these statistics are a bit off. For me, what I think is interesting here is what I've seen a lot of the backlash be about was about the immigrant comment. And this is why I think it's funny because it's kind of like someone has said this before. If you want to know who's in control, find out who you can't disrespect, right? And, he's actually said here, you can't have an economy with 9 million people on benefits. So it's not like he's necessarily just talking about immigration here. He's also talking about people on benefits too. And so I've seen that the focus actually what's actually been said is about the immigrants, the immigration. And this is where you kind of start to see how you get to the point of like people having an agenda when they want to try and cause backlash, right? People want to stick to one topic or they want to exacerbate the topic and make it seem a lot more extreme than what it actually is. At the end of the day, we know, let's just be completely honest here, we know there is an immigration crisis in the UK. Well, not even just the UK, like it's happening around Europe as well, like them too. So this isn't like a thing where this is news. Like we know this is a thing. This isn't like something that's secret or anything like that. So what he's saying, there is an immigration crisis. That is true. So, okay, let's say the colonized part, let's say that was a bit strong, that wording, but it doesn't take away the point that he's saying. Like he's saying that the immigration is out of control, which it is. People are getting here illegally. That means it's out of control, right? Once you know that people are being able to get here illegally, then clearly it is not in control because people have been able to get here against the legal procedure. So this is my thing. When it comes to immigration, this is my thing. If immigrants get to this country, if they're lucky to get to this country, first and foremost, they've got here illegally. So that's just the truth of the matter, regardless of, however much sympathy we feel for them, because I do have sympathy for immigrants. I really do. Like, I understand where they're coming from and what they've been through, and I understand why they would risk their lives to get to a better country. However, I don't think that means that automatically entitles them then to be treated like royalty. Because there's many people here who have lived here all their lives and who have contributed to being in the UK via tax, who are not getting any kind of benefit. Like you have homeless in the UK. The homeless don't get a fancy hotel to stay in. The homeless don't get a brand new mobile phone. The homeless won't be given a brand new house. They don't get any of that. And they live here. So I don't understand how people who have got here illegally are then being rewarded with all these things. So at the very least, if it's a thing of, okay, you've got to this country, so now you've not got to worry about, let's say, the poverty of the country that you was in, or maybe the violence because this country is a lot more safe. Okay, but now you've got to figure it out. Now you've got to go and get a job. It's not a thing now where you're going to be given all these luxuries and you're going to just get to live on benefits now and have your happy ever after. No. You've got here illegally, so first and foremost, you shouldn't be here. But if you have got here, okay, you're going to have to contribute. Now you're going to have to show that you want to be a positive member of society to this country. That should be what it is. And so the fact that they're skipping over the benefits point, it just shows me that they've kind of just jumped to the one that's got the shock value. And that's where I look at this and I think they've really gone with just the shock value. And to me, in all honesty, I do not look at what Ratcliffe has said here and think that was absolutely despicable. Yes, I think he's used a bit of an exaggerated term to explain the situation, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a point. If we can all look at the immigration that's happening and we can call it, we literally know it's a crisis, like that's a real, it's that bad, then why are you making him feel guilty for just pointing that out? That's all he's doing, is pointing out a fact. But the fact that he has said it, it's now a problem. And I just don't agree with this. And this is how people get silenced, because what they do is they guilt trip you for saying these things. But we're all thinking it, right? We're all thinking it. And again, like I know I am not a racist. I know that 100%. But I'm not going to sit here and act like it's fair that people get to the country and then get to live on benefits, because I'm a working class citizen. I work to make my life in the UK. I've lived in the UK my whole life, so I've worked to make the living that I have, and I pay my taxes. So for me, it's not even just about immigrants. I've said this before. For me, it's about the benefits as a whole. It's people getting to just live on benefits as a whole. And this is why I'm making the point that I've noticed that they've not said anything about him talking about 9 million people being on benefits. It's not just about immigration. Don't get me wrong, the immigration doesn't help, and some of the immigrants will end up on benefits too. But it's not just about immigrants. It's about people just being on the benefit system who are not contributing as well. And they're being way too lax with the benefit system and allowing people to take advantage of that. The whole thing needs to be turned around. I've had some real good comments on some of my previous videos, and where they've talked about like how in America there's basically a non-existent benefit system. Like you don't really have that. You really have got to go and make it work for yourself. And I'm not saying that benefits should just go completely, because I do understand there's a thing there to help people out, and there are some people who can't work and things like that. But there's definitely a big population of people who are just taking advantage of the situation, who just don't want to work, and they're just making the most of it. And that's why them Labour removing the 2-child benefit cap was just so ridiculous. Because all you're doing is making it easier for people to not want to work. Because people who maybe had more than 2 kids who were struggling might be thinking, I need to get a job. But now you remove that cap and it's like, oh great, that's great. So now I know I'm going to get more money. I'm going to be way better off. Or people who have 2 kids may think, hey, I might as well have another one, get some more money. That's literally the way people could look at it. It's just another meal ticket, right? Another extra bit of money in their pocket. And it's just ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, for me personally, when I look at this with Jim Ratcliffe, like I generally like understand his point. Like yes, I can acknowledge that maybe he used a bit of an extreme wording to explain it, but the benefit point has merit to it, and so does the immigration situation. It definitely is a crisis. It's a problem, and people are coming here illegally. Like if you saw someone say, hey, people are out here robbing from shops, like that's a problem. But then you say, oh my God, how dare you, be disrespectful for these people? They're robbing from shops because they're poor. Yes, we understand they're poor. No one's taking that away from them. We get that, but they are breaking the law. They are literally breaking the law. Like, we still have to acknowledge the fact of that. So we can have the empathy of, like, I get it. I understand times are hard. Like, you're doing what you feel you have to do. But we still have to also acknowledge that the law is being broken. What they're doing is not legal. And it's insanity that people are like trying to shame others for saying this. It's almost like they want this to be okay. It's almost like there's an agenda at play. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. So yeah, I'll leave it there. But guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I thought this was kind of crazy. I'm so surprised at how much it's blown up. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts, because I'm definitely interested here. But to me, this is just showing you how much they want to be able to do these things, and they don't want you to have an opinion on it. Like, let them do what's going on, let what's happening happen, and don't say anything, because if you do, you're just going to get completely chastised, and they'll just throw something on you saying, you're a bigot, or, whatever, even though you are talking absolute truth. It's absolutely crazy, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for this, guys, all that good stuff, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.